Tales from Fright Town, Part 2, by Breinholdt. Hello, it's me again, the guy from the weird town at the edge of the world, known as Fright Town by the locals. In my last post, I mentioned that Earl, the owner of the local kiosk, offered me a job as a cashier to keep my mouth shut about the body we buried. That was about a month ago in real time, and a lot of things have happened since then. First off, let me tell you about the store's layout. If you were to go inside the store, you would see 2 shelves filled to the edge with chocolate, chips, nuts, cookies, and other sorts of sugar-filled candy. A little bit behind that, there are like 5 to 6 fridges filled with beer, Monster, Cola, and Pepsi. If you were to go to the left when you entered the store, you would see the desk with me, Earl, and the new guy behind it. But if you were to go to the right, you would see a door that leads to the storage room. Nothing special happens in the storage room, but there are 2 doors in there, one that leads to the bathroom and one to the backyard. The backyard is surrounded by an old fence that's rotten to the point that it feels like you can punch straight through it. Inside the yard, there's a couple of dumpsters and about 10 trash bags. I don't know why there are so many trash bags because we hardly ever have trash in our trash cans. And in the middle, there's a sewer drain. There's also a sewer drain in front of the kiosk. That's the sewer drain that Amy, Mark, and Claudia wanted to know more about. My first day as the cashier went pretty good. Nothing special happened, and I learned about the job. My second day, it went a little different. My second day started pretty normal. I came in early in the morning and cleaned the floors and filled the shelves. After I had done most of the physical work, I sat down behind the counter and started to read a horror book about a guy and his weird experiences at his job, which is kind of ironic. After 2 hours and a few weird customers, something caught my attention. It was something on the computer screen. The store has security cameras in some of the rooms, and they all showed on a computer screen behind the counter. It's so that the cashier can see if people try to steal anything. But something was off. In the corner behind the fridge, the one that contains all the energy drinks, stood a man. His back was turned to the camera, so I couldn't see his face at first. When I got the job, Earl gave me a list of rules to follow. Follow the dress code, which means at least wear pants. Hold eye contact with the customers, except if they're naked. If you want to use the store's phone, you have to buy something, and this includes the employees and in case of emergency. People can stay in the store as long as they want if they buy something once an hour. Don't go near the sewer drain. And those were all the rules. These were the rules I had to follow and ensure that are followed, and the man had clearly broken the second to the last one. So I got up from my chair and walked over to the fridge, because obviously he can't just stand there without buying anything. But when I got over there, he was gone. I thought that he might have left the moment I got up from my chair, so I walked back and sat down. After a minute or two, I looked at the computer screen, and there he was again. But this time, his face was facing the camera. There wasn't anything creepy about that, except for 2 things. One was he was freakishly pale, and he was crying. After seeing him again, I did the same thing as before. I got up and walked over to the fridge, and yet again, he was gone. I walked back and sat down. I looked at the screen and was surprised to see the man wasn't behind the fridge anymore. Now he was standing in the middle of the room, smiling. When I looked up, he wasn't there. But then I looked back on the monitors and he had moved a little closer. The man started to reach inside his jacket to grab something, I think. I thought to myself that something bad was going to happen. But just as the man pulled his hand out of his pocket, Earl entered the store. He gave me a weird look and asked, "Is something wrong? You look kind of pale." I looked back down at the screen, but the man was gone, completely. I looked Earl in the eyes and said, "There was a man on the screen, but not in the store." You could see Earl's eyes widen. "Ah, it's back," he somewhat yelled. "It's back?" I asked. "Has this happened before?" I could see that Earl was thinking. "Look, kid, I can't explain what it is, but I can say this. We need to get another employee because it only comes when someone's alone." 2 weeks after the cameraman, we hired a new guy, or at least new for Earl. His name is Martin, and we used to be close friends when we were 16, but we stopped talking when we stopped going to the same school. Martin was always weird, but not weird. He was too friendly and talked about way too private things with complete strangers. Martin's first day was a little worse than mine. I expected him to be a little more awkward about having to work with me, but no. He came into the kiosk and gave me a hug and said, "6 years! So, how's the love life?" Before I could answer, 3 people entered the store. It was the same 3 people that Earl threatened with a pistol. One of the girls walked up to me and said with a smile, "Hi, my name's Claudia. Thanks for the distraction last time." I nodded. Martin looked at me and tilted his head in Claudia's direction as if to say something. "Oh, yeah, hi. Yeah, no problem. I'm Jonas, by the way," I said awkwardly. An awkward silence followed before Claudia said, "Oh, these are my friends, Amy and Mark." "Hi," they said, at almost the same time. "I'm Martin," said Martin. "So what brings you here?" Claudia cast a quick look back at Amy and Mark, and then around the kiosk to see if there were any other people before whispering, "Well, I wanted to say thank you, Jonas. We kinda want to ask about the sewer." "The sewer?" I asked her. She gave me a weird look. "Yeah, the sewer. The one in front of the store with the weird plant coming from it," she replied. I gave her a questioning look before saying something in the line of, "Haven't heard about it." And then she smiled and grabbed my hand and dragged me outside. She wasn't wrong. There was something weird coming up from the sewer drain. It looked like black roots were growing up from it, and they were moving. Martin had apparently followed us outside and walked over and picked at it. The roots suddenly jumped up and latched around his arm and pulled him headfirst down onto the road, where he then fainted. I sighed and said, "I'll go get a knife," to Claudia. "Please make sure that it doesn't kill him while I'm gone." "I'm sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger here, but I need to get back to the kiosk now. I'll post again when I have time, but for now, that was all from this town known as Fright Town. Oh, and don't touch the sewer roots. They can be dangerous."